What's going on? It's JDM, Jason Dowdy Music. If you've been following me lately, you know that I am pursuing a full-time career in music. If you want to follow that journey, just use the hashtag no9to5 by 2028, and you can watch that happen. All right, cool. So I'm going to play a little bit of a track, and I'm going to be stopping and doing little FL Studio tutorials. If you use FL Studio, I have a ton of, I have some free courses on my website, jasondowdymusic.com. I have a lot of tutorials on my YouTube page as well. And I'll include links to that, but I just wanted to stop and share tips and tricks as I'm working, as I go every once in a while. Hopefully it helps somebody else out there. So I'm just going to play a little bit of this track. All right, so what I'm going to be working on is this little brassy bass sound right here. I'm going to solo it and play it by itself. This one. So at the very end of the track, the way I work is I kind of mix as I go and do this and that, but a lot of people say you should do the creative process and then you should do the mixing process and separate them, because some people are so you can use all of your creative energies, your right brain, for the creative process, and then switch to that analytical. I mix as I go because to me mixing is part of the creative process. Like, while I'm creating, I'm trying to do sound design. I'm trying to hear how the instruments play against each other, how they're panned, where they are in the mix, all of that kind of stuff. I work as I go so that I know what this final product's going to sound like and if it's going to work. But I do all my volume automation at the end, and what I want to do is volume automate this sound here to where it starts to tail off after those first 4 beats in this second measure, so it's not such an abrupt end. And while I'm creating, I don't want to hear that abrupt end every time because it bothers me. I know every producer has their own way of doing things, but that's the way I work. So what I'm going to do, instead of doing volume automation, because like I said, I do all of that after I assign each one of these to a mixer channel, and then I go through volume automation. Is always my last step. I'm just going to add a shaper box to this channel. And I don't know if anybody out there uses a shaper box, but I use it all the time. You can manipulate a lot of different things. Volume, pitch, it tells you right up front. Time, right? You can add these effects like bit crushing, filtering, noise, all of that. It's a really versatile tool. If you don't have it, I'd highly recommend it. You can do some of the same things in gross beat as well, especially with time and volume, but this just adds these other features as well. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to do a volume automation. And I'm going to change this to 2 bars because this note is 2 bars long. And all I'm doing is fading out the end. So I'm going to add a hard fade. I'm going to put a little curved line here. You just click once for a solid dot and twice for a dot that is not solid, just the circle. And this gives you either a soft curve, based on that, or a hard line with the solid. Okay, but anyway, let's play it and hear what it sounds like on its own. I mean, that's pretty much what I want. There's a little bit of a tail on it, but I'm just using it as I work, so it's not that big of a deal. And it's not really if you listen to the whole mix, you're not going to notice anyway. Here, let me play the whole mix real quick. And fade. All right, cool. So now I can work with that. The only caveat to this is that shaper box is counting for you. So it's doing every 2 bars. It's doing 1 from 5, 5 to 9, 9 to 13, 13 to 17. So since this starts on measure 13, it's fine. But let's say you wanted to move this over a bar because you wanted to add a big sweeping sound in the intro, right? Then this would be off. So something to keep in mind as you do this, but it's a trick and tip that I use. So I hope this has been helpful to you, and I'll see you around. Peace.